एतेषां पञ्चतत्त्वानां मध्ये आकाशस्य राजसांशात् वागिन्द्रियं सम्भूतम् वायोः राजसांशात् वाणीन्द्रियं सम्भूतम् वह्नेः राजसांशात् पादेन्द्रियं सम्भूतम् जलस्य राजसांशात् उपस्थेन्द्रियं सम्भूतम् पृथिव्या राजसांशात् उदेन्द्रियं सम्भूतम् एतेषां समष्टिराजसांशात् पञ्चप्राणाः सम्भूताः। So we saw in the earlier section of the three gunas which belong to Maya, which is the cause for the whole creation. There specifically this body is being taken into account, and what are the various things which accounts by the each guna. So as we saw, Sattva being the thing which is always the cause, the instrumental for knowledge. Jnana Shakti is because of Sattva guna. Hence the instrument which gives rise to knowledge, they all have their origin born of Sattva guna. Indirectly, Sattva guna accounts for the instruments which are giving you the knowledge. So the Panchak Jnana Indriya, sense organs, the mind, the buddhi, the memory, and also the ego, all of them have got their origin from this Sattva guna. And by the union of all these things, combination of all these things, we are all always gaining varieties of knowledge, information, and even we are conducting our day-to-day life. This is how the whole thing happens. So in this body, anything related to knowledge, that is always made possible by that which is called Sattva. But understand, if Sattva is predominant, a person's intelligence and intellectual capacity becomes more. But if this Sattva gets polluted, contaminated with the other gunas like Rajas and Tamas, naturally that capacity becomes lesser and lesser. In the modern world today, people talk about IQ. This IQ particularly varies from person to person, not because the buddhi is different, because it is admixture of these gunas. Because at the buddhi level, if there is this contamination of the Rajas and the Tamas, then actually all of them becomes lesser and lesser. And that is how some people are very dull, some people are average, some people are very bright, some people are like this. All this because of what? Because of this combination of these gunas. So where Sattva is predominant, there will find the intelligent capacity, all this capacity will be more. This is, we are talking from the Shastra language, Shastra vision. The medical science may be different, other people may have their own language, their own thing to say. Understand it, sir? Our Shastra says this particularly. So this is how we should understand. And accordingly in Gita and all, as I told you, that is why they more prescribe the sattvic food. The sattvic food accounts for the condition of the mind, condition of your intellect. They are contributory factors. As you know, food contributes to many things to the body. And this being related to the body, food itself becomes the cause for that. That is why certain type of food makes you dull. Is it or not? A certain type of food you take, you feel drowsy, you are not sharp all the time. But then certain type of food always keeps you sharp and alert. How even these things happen? So we should always know food is directly a contributory factor for the buddhi to be always alert, intelligent, everything. So based on this, only in olden days, they were all very particular about the type of food we eat, sattvic food and all, they were prescribing only for this purpose. Not that other people are not intelligent. There are intelligent people in spite of taking any type of food. You may argue. We don't deny that. But then maybe they are naturally having certain things. But then if you want to improve, the food can also play an important part. That's why intelligent people can become dull. Dull people can become intelligent by this particular thing, favorably utilizing that. That is the idea of telling. So because you may say in the world varieties of people are there taking any type of food, but they are all intelligent, so how do you say all these things? You may argue. We don't deny that. But then only thing is they are contributory factors. We should always understand that particularly. Now having talked about the Sattva Guna and how the evolution of things comes from there, the next particularly is what the Rajo Gunam accounts for. Now we have seen there itself Rajas accounts for the power of action. Rajas always accounts for the power, Kriya Shakti. The Kriya Shakti means the Shakti, the power of action, activity. That is the power for everything. Motion power is Rajas. So Rajas is a Shakti which gives lot of power to do varieties of things. So that is why Sattvam is Buddhi Shakti, Mano Shakti for thinking and other things. But when you want to do lot of action, there the Shakti that is required is Rajas. So from there what should come? All particularly motor equipments and their activities that are there, they are all accounted by Rajo Gunam. So that is why one by one I have been told here, enumerated. So etesham pancha tattvanam madhye, among these five elements, akashasya of the space, rajas amsham, the aspect of rajas, vak indriyam sambhutam. Vak means your vocal organ. This vocal organ, particularly organ of speech or the vocal organ. Why? Because from there what should come? Sound. What is the gunam of akasha? Sound. We saw. So akasha having the gunam of sound, and the akasham itself becomes as though the devata or the particular factor for the sound organ to be born. Which aspect? Rajas aspect. So it makes lot of sound. So sound is the thing, akasham is related. So akasha, rajas aspect accounts for the sound, not only in human being, anywhere in birds, in dogs, in any animal, anywhere the rajas is the account for that itself. You should understand all over, it is the same thing. So rajas accounts for vak indriyam. Then vayoho rajasamshat, from the vayu, from the air, rajas aspect, pani indriyam sambhudam. Pani means the hand. Because with the hand only, though anywhere, the hand is the thing which is you feel lot of things. First thing. Again, hand is the thing which has got balam, bahu balam. So that balam, that also is there in the air. So that condition being there, the activity of the hand, everything is particularly accounted for by the rajas aspect of air. Then vannehe rajasamshat pada indriyam sambhutam. From the fire and the rajas aspect accounts for padam, mobility. That which is called the legs, the feet, which are mobile. That's why though fire, it looks, that's why fire always as though travels. It goes up, fire always goes up, moves. And it can spread very fast. So there is a mobility in the fire. So fire, the power that is there, accounts for our own mobility in the legs according to Shastra. Then Jalasya Rajasamshat, the rajas aspect of waters, it accounts for upastha, the genital organ. In the Vedas and other places it is said there, the genital organ has got a special capacity, the procreation capacity. So in that particular it is said there, the water is the devata for that, because of which this particular thing called the sperms and other thing formation, it is because of that itself. So their prayer is that this water should be there for what? For this particular sperms to be born there. So it's a prayer and all like that. In the devatas they talk about, that is the devata that is said there particularly. That is the water is the thing that is said there. So that condition being there, from the rajas aspect of that, this particular genital organ is born, particularly said there. Prithivyaha rajasamshat guda indriyam sambhutam. From the rajas aspect of Prithvi, Mother Earth, anus, the particularly where you have got excretion, that particular thing, the activity for that, Mother Earth accounts for that, the rajas aspect from there, that is accounted. Now what he says, etesham samashti rajasamcha, from the individual having told, the collective, all put together, the rajas aspect of all of them together is pancha pranadeha sambhutaha. The five pranas, pranas means the various types of thing that is there called, the thing which is there, the five prana, prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. Now why this is connected to rajas? Because prana we saw there is called the energy department. That's why this pranas only keeps everything strong and gives supplies energy. That's why when the food is particularly less, prana becomes weak, every energy becomes less. So when you are taking properly food, the prana is active, everything is active. So it is as though the thing called as energy department is prana. And that is why that also has got its birth from the total rajas aspect. So entire thing is what? The power to do action. They are accounted by the rajas, the aspect of it itself. Okay. Now the next comes the last thing called tamas aspect. The tamas aspect always accounts, we saw, it is for inertness. That is called jada shakti. The grossness, otherwise you call it. So rajas accounts for the particular grossness, so it accounts for the gross aspect of the body. Prana is also that which is called as thing which is subtle. The mind, everything is called subtle. They are all called subtle body we are accounted for. Now what is going to be accounted for is the gross body. That is what is the next aspect that is being talked here. So we will see that. Etesham panchatattvanam tamasamshat panchikrita panchatattwani bhavanti panchikaranam kathamiti chet etesham panchamahabhutanam tamasamsaswarupam ekam bhutam dvidha vibhajya ekam पृथक तूष्णीं व्यवस्थाप्य अपरमपरमर्धं चतुर्धा विभज्य स्वार्धम् अन्येषु अर्थेषु स्वभागचतुष्टय संयोजनम् कार्यम तदा पंचीकरणम भवति. So the final evolution is the gross. Tamasic aspect means gross. So etesham panchatattvanam, of these five elements, tamasa amsha. From the tamas aspect, panchikrita tattvani bhavanti. Grossified 5 elements are born. Now if you go back there when we talked about sthula shariram, if you refer there, panchikrita pancha mahabhutaihi kritam was told. That means those 5 elements which had undergone the grossification, of them were born the gross aspect of the body. But when we talked about the subtle body, we saw apanchikrita panchamahabhutaihi kritam. They were born of the panchamahabhutas before undergoing the grossification. So that grossification, that is what is going to be discussed here. So the while grossifying, any gross here is called compounding. You all know. Once upon a time there is a lot of compounding and medicines used to be given. Now only prescription is there. That's why the fellow was compounder. So in the compounding, what used to happen? You used to mix medicine and used to particularly give things. So what is compounding means what? Mixing. So that is why here also Panchikaranam indirectly is called compounding, mixing. So mixing of what? The 5 elements, and there particularly the tamas aspect is mixed together. Because of that, the gross elements are born. And for this purpose particularly, there is a process of grossification is said there. So in the book there is a chart and all that you can read afterwards. Just here is a little mathematical calculation they have arrived at. You don't say how it has come, they have given, you have to just accept. On what basis they say, this is in the Shastra somewhere, there is a topic itself, Panchikaranam. Somewhere it is said there, based on that all these things are said. You have to simply accept it and finish it off. There is no room for argument how it is, on what basis they say this is the method, that's all, nothing. You have to just accept it and finish it off. So what is said there particularly? So he asks a question, Panchikaranam khatam iti chet. In case you want to know, how does Panchikaranam come or what is it? If you ask a question, now he says particularly. Say every element has got 1 unit of tamas. So you have to make Akasha 1 tamas, Vayu 1 tamas, Agni 1 tamas, Apaha water 1 tamas, and Prithvi 1 tamas. That's why particularly, so Tamasamsha Surupam Ekam Bhutam. So 1 unit of everything you take. Then what he says particularly, Dvidha Vibhajya, divided into equal part, 50-50, half and half. Now what he particularly says, now in that 1 part of it, leave it free there, don't touch it. That's what particular Tushnim Vyavastapya means, you don't do anything to it, leave it as it is. Now what you should do, take the other half, 2 halves are there, 1 half will leave as it is. Now the other half that is there, what you should do, divide every half into 4 equal parts. When the half is divided into 4 equal parts, becomes 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. So in every element there is a 1/8 part, 1/8 part, 1/8 part. Having done this, what you should do, now each 1/8 of the other elements give to the other half of 1 element. Now take Akasha, the half you have left, to that bring from Vayu 1/8, Agni 1/8, water 1/8, Prithvi 1/8. They all become what? Half. Mixture. That mixture you add to the original half of the Akasha. When you do it, it becomes gross Akasha. It still retains Akasha. Why? Because preponderance of Akasha quality there. So we call it as gross Akasha. According to Shastra, the space that you got is gross Akasha. It is not subtle Akasha. It is gross means what? In this Akasha, there is the other 4 elements also mixed together. Where tamas is mixed there. Then same thing you go to Vayu. So you bring from Akasha 1/8, Agni 1/8, Apaha 1/8, and Prithvi 1/8. Then half, mix it to Vayu, become gross Vayu. Then same thing you take to fire, bring 1/8 from Akasha, Vayu, water and Prithvi, add it to fire, gross fire. Then water also, Akasha 1/8, Vayu 1/8, Agni 1/8, Prithvi 1/8. You add together, it becomes gross water. Then finally Prithvi also 1/8 of Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, add to the Prithvi, gross Prithvi. This is what is called particularly Panchikaranam. Tada Panchikaranam Bhavati. So thus the particularly Panchikaranam is grossifying. The grossification has taken place. This is the method of grossification. Now finally what is there he says now that we read. Yetebhyaha Panchikrita Panchamahabhutebhyaha Sthula Shariram Bhavati. That means from these grossified elements, who is born? The entire gross part of the body. Does they understand? All gross, anything tangible, outside, inside, anything, all of them are what? Grossified elements. We have seen before, all of them. Whether it is the flesh, the blood, the bone, anything you talk, whatever that is there, they are come from where? From the Tamas aspect of the body, particular thing. That's why they are all very gross. So that is why they have got one thing what? They are all inert in nature. They are all inert in nature. Everything. Though the eyes are able to see, but itself is flesh only. There is something which makes the capacity to see. So otherwise after death it becomes what? Simple flesh only. Anything you take. But at present otherwise they enjoy certain life and other things. That is accounted by what? Two factors. One is called is prana. Another one is called Atma. Two things together. Prana itself is effective because of Atma. That means for everything what is required? The Atma. That is ultimate. The relative is prana. So two factors required for the entire activity to go. One is prana relative, the absolute is Atma. So that condition is very much required. Otherwise, this body will not be able to do anything. All activities of the combination together. So we have to see the relative as well as the ultimate. As long as we don't know the ultimate, we give importance to prana. That's why generally we say when prana goes, everything stops. So for ordinary people, what is the important factor? Prana. But when you come to Shastra, then it tells you prana itself is relative. There is something still superior to prana. That is what we call as the Atma, otherwise called awareness, consciousness. That itself is the absolute which makes this prana, everything to be working. Otherwise it is not possible particularly. So hence now in this manner what is said is the conclusion there. Evam Binda Brahmandayoho Aikyam Sambhutam. Evam means in this manner, in the manner that we have discussed up to now. What is there? An Aikyam. Aikyam means what? Identity, sameness, commonness between what? Pinda, Brahmanda. Pinda means Vyashti, Brahmanda means Samashti. Pinda means individual, Brahmanda means total, Pinda means micro, and Brahmanda means macro. These are all the different words. You can take any one of them and understand. From a standpoint, they all are two different. When you see from the standpoint of their volume, their capacity, they cannot be one and the same. But then how they are one and the same? Only from the standpoint of what they are made of. That is why if you have got a chain, ornament, gold, one is only 1 tola, another one is 10 tolas, you can say this and that cannot be one and the same. When you view it from the standpoint of tolas, that means your comparison is from what standpoint? Weight. When our comparative particularly standpoint is weight, you cannot say 10 tola and 1 tola are one and the same. They are, of course, they are totally different. Similarly, if you take two motors, a motor having half horsepower, another motor having 1 horsepower, you cannot say both motors are one and the same if you view from the standpoint of horsepower, performance. That means you must know the standpoint from which you are comparing. Similarly, when we say it is the sameness, you can see both are motors. If you see from motor standpoint, both are motors. If you say ornament, both are ornaments. That means from one standpoint they have got sameness, commonness, identification, identity is there, they are identical. But another way, if you look at it, they are not. Hence, when we see the individual means the jiva, the total means particularly the world, the creation or the Ishvara, if you see, they are from one standpoint, they are totally distinct. They can never be one and the same. But if you see from the standpoint of certain truth that is there, you will find they are one and the same. That's why if Bhagavan has got a body, that body too should have come from what? From these 5 elements only. Is it or not? And our body is also born of 5 elements. From that standpoint, both bodies are one and the same. The mind there also, all the entire equipment, they are what? The particular thing. Either sattva or rajas. They are also one and the same. And if there is an atma there, that atma and this atma are also one and the same. But if you see from the shape or some other activity, something, there may be lot of difference. This is what you are all doing. When the blood, each one is different, how can you match the blood? Because from the blood standpoint, people seems to be common. But when you see the shape and all, people are totally different. So there are varieties of things from an angle, if you look at it, they are all same. But another angle, they cannot be the same. So when we say identity, one should know from what standpoint the identification, identical, it is told, must be clear. So here what is identical particularly? Because the total includes even the individual. That's why when we say Virat, Virat is the whole creation. In that Virat Swarupam, who is there? You are also included. Because when we say universe, in the universe you are also there. Without you the universe cannot be there. So that condition being there, the universe includes you. And you cannot stand separate from the universe. That condition being there, there is an identity between the Pinda and Brahmanda. So that is why it is Brahmanda, this is Anda, particularly it is now. So that condition being in this manner particularly, so if you take from the body standpoint, you and the Lord can never be one and the same. But if you understand from Atma standpoint, Atma wise there is only one Atma. Like that we say, if pots are there of different capacities, each pot is different from another. Because you are seeing from the standpoint of capacity. How can it hold? How much it can hold? You cannot say all pots are same. But you can see two ways. If you see the material of it, they are made. If they are all earthen pots, all are one and the same. If you see there, what is there in all of them is space. There is no difference in the But the volume wise there is always difference. So whenever we see identity, we should know from what standpoint. Similarly, here the standpoint is two. One is from the element standpoint, everything is nothing but 5 elements. Or if you see the truth behind all of them, it is nothing but Parabrahma Swarupam. So that being the case, the whole creation being the product of Brahman plus Maya. In the individual also what is there? Brahman plus Maya. Total also what? Brahman plus Maya. So what is there? There is only one. But if we go by Nama, Rupa, Guna, nothing can be one and the same. They all differ. This is the basis for Dvaita, Advaita. So on what basis we see Dvaita? Always we go by Nama, Rupa, Guna. 3 things. When you see name, form and quality, one differs from another. This is what even you take one thing called fabrics. Even if they are made of one material, synthetic or let it be cotton, all are fabrics one way. And everything has got one common particular substance called cotton. But if you go by their texture or by their color, whatever they have been made, you can differentiate one from the other. That means from one standpoint they have got oneness, they are all one. Though you say plural, but still it is all fabrics only, nothing else. But at the same time when you see what for it is used, what color, what texture, no 2 things can be one and the same. This is how particularly you should understand always Dvaitam or Advaitam. That is why always Dvaitam is based on your eyes, Advaitam is only based by Buddhi Jnanam. So Advaitam we don't see with the eyes, we always see Dvaitam because these eyes are provided for that purpose. If you start seeing Advaitam with your eyes, there will be lot of problem. Is it or not? When you are climbing down the steps, if you see Advaitam one step, what will happen? You will be in Sancheti hospital or any nursing home. So what you should see with these eyes? If you are on the road, lot of vehicles are coming. Advaitam, I see only one vehicle somewhere. You will meet with an accident. These eyes have been provided by the Lord to see distinction everywhere. That's why we should not use this means to understand Advaitam or see Advaitam. Advaitam has to be a fact which is only to be understood. Since people don't understand that, they say where is Advaitam? Dvaitam alone is real. Hence Advaitam is not from the standpoint of these particular eyes, it is from the standpoint of truth, Paramartham, the Tattvam. That's why here it is Tattva Bodham. That means where is this particular Bedam we see? 3 aspects we saw. One aspect is the individual. The other aspect is total. When we say in the total only there is the world plus Bhagavan, both are included. So the truth of Bhagavan and the world plus you, all of them are what? One and the same. As long as this fact is not known, for all such people there will be 3 things. One is I, another one is Lord, third thing is the world. All the 3 things can never be one and the same. They all will be different. That's why until we come to this knowledge, what is absolute reality? Duality, Dvaitam, Bhedam, multiplicity, plurality is the reality. And nobody can argue about that. That is correct, because their appreciation and their establishing is only through this perception. So hence we should understand perceptively non-dual nature should never be, can never be established. If anybody tries to establish non-dual with through perception, they will always have lot of problem and confusion. And that is why many people say all this Advaitam and all is complete rubbish. It is never possible. Why? Because they want to have Advaitam with these eyes. And according to them, when we say non-dual, they think nothing should be there. There should be only one. Still there will be two, no? You plus one. You want to see one. Retaining you, another one is there. Still how many will be there? Two. So as long as you want to see one, retaining yourself, can you ever get Advaitam? You can never. Hence, if at all we want to have Advaitam, we must know what means. Advaitam means what? That is what Advaitam means. The truth of everything is one and the same. That's a Advaita Drishti, the vision of non-dual. If at all it is said, it is from the standpoint of the absolute reality, which Bhagavan will say in Gita, Tattva Darishanam. Otherwise we generally say it is Paramartha Drishti. From the Paramartha Drishti, what is reality is only one, when in spite of seeing many. Always you must know. Even if you say thousands of ornaments, you see, as long as your vision is ornaments, what is reality? Difference, multiplicity, plurality. You don't say no. But shift your particular thing. That way, who shifts? When the particular thief comes there, what is his vision? Ornaments of gold. That fellow takes everything and goes away. He says, I don't bother whether it is chain or bangle or necklace, all are equal for me. Why? Because everything will produce money for me. Because for him, what is the vision? It is only nothing but gold and gold alone. So his vision is one, whereas our vision is many. This is all. Even when you buy lot of ornaments and one day you want to sell, you go to the goldsmith. Goldsmith buys what? When you buy, you want ornament. I buy one chain, I buy bangle, I buy necklace, I buy ring. So you have brought so many ornaments. You always buy ornaments only. So that's why we use plural. But after some time you decide to sell. Go to the goldsmith and you try to sell. What do you buy? Gold. So how many gold is there? Though you have got 4 ornaments, he buys what? 1 gold only. That means his drishti is what? Advaitam. Your drishti is what? Because he sees only Tattvam gold, you see only Namam Rupam. So as long as our vision is from the standpoint of Nama Rupa, what will be there is only Vedam, Dvaitam, difference. These are all the things we are talking. Understand now. In India, present day, everybody wants what? Ekata. This is the biggest slogan. Ekata, Ekata, Ekata. Now in various aspects if you see, what is there is only, particularly you find disintegration only is there. And we want integration. These are all the words that is used. If you see from the states itself, each state is different from varieties of things. That's why everybody claims my state, my state, my state, my state. Language is different from the particularly the way the particular they are played, east and west and north and south. Like they are all different. There are various methods of living, so many things. Everything is different. The language they speak is different. How they look is different. Varieties are different. In this manner, no two persons or anybody can be one and the same. So if you see from this standpoint how all of us can be one. If this is the basis, naturally we all have to be different. But then that is why they say that may be there, but we are all one. Why? Because we are born to one motherland. We are born in one motherland. So that is why we are all one. And that is not a thing to be seen with your eyes. This is Advaitam, sir. That we are all one. National integration is what? The vision of non-duality. Wherever dual, what is there? Difference, Veda. And what is the slogan that everybody is giving? This difference should go. So that is why they say, when we meet, many people wrote, no, we see only Maharashtrian, South Indians, Gujarati, now UP, we see that only, we don't see Indians. This is what people say. That means though these are all there, what should be there all the time? Indian. Indian means all are one. But if you go another way, then religion wise we are different, that way we are different, this way we are different, we are all different. So this is why they say unity in diversity. Understand? From a standpoint, what is there is only diversity, but unity is a matter to be understood. Unity is not a thing to be seen. And as long as there is no understanding, unity can never be there. This happens even in the family. If in the family there are lot of members, these days all particularly, you have got many so particularly small families, a nuclear family only is there these days. But like olden days joint family, so many members were there. Though each one is different by different, if one parent had so many children, and that is why from one way, who are we? We are all one. From what? From family. Family means what? Parentage, we are all one. That's why you use the word blood relations. Though medical wise need not be, all blood counts may not be the same. Blood group may not be the same. But still we are all blood relations. So that's why there is to, why are you fighting? You are all one. That is what Mahabharata Yuddham is. What is about? Though they are all belonging to one family, by their vision they were all different. So unity has to come not by physical, not by any other factor. It is only by understanding certain reality about things. And that is what is the particular knowledge here which we are talked up to now is called Tattva Bodham. Tattva Bodham. So Tattva means what? Reality, the truth. Now we discussed truth of ourselves, truth of the creation has been discussed. Now another aspect that is being taken here is particularly called, the third factor called Ishvara. The next aspect that is taken particularly is Ishvara. That is why for this another drishtantam we can give. If you go to an ocean, in the ocean there are many waves, ripples, so many things you can see. In spite of being calling wave, ripple, bubble, tidal wave, so many things you can call, but they are nothing but one water. Again we can say this is a small drop of water, and that is ocean we can say. Thus we can make a difference, but if you analyze in science, both are nothing but H2O. As H2O, whether it is a drop or whether it is a vast expanse of water, does it make any difference? It doesn't make any difference. So thus we should understand the standpoint of this Advaita. Advaita's standpoint is not understood. So people think if it is Advaita, everything should go, then Advaita. If everything is there, there is no Advaita. Sir, everything goes means that is called Shunyam, absence of everything. So that is not Advaita. Advaita means in spite of duality, the underlying truth is one. Understanding that is what is called Advaita Jnanam, Advaita Drishti. From the standpoint of Advaita, there is only one. But when you see from Nama, Rupa, Guna, Beda and Kriya activities, all are different. That's why all are cars, you can say. Everything is car only. All are mopeds only. All are motorcycles only. When you use them, they are all Advaita, all are the same. But then each one is different by what? By their name, Nama, Rupa, Guna. Cars are all cars, but each car is different by their performance, various things, each one is different. Thus in the world if you go, you will always find difference. You take particularly one fruit. Mangoes, if you take, all are mangoes. By the species they belong to one only. There is Advaitam, everybody is mango only. But then if you start seeing the Gunam, their Rupam and their Nama, none of them are the same. Like this, if you go all over the world, you will find there is Dvaitam, Advaitam, Dvaitam, Advaitam. But then who is the underlying principle for what? Who is the reality? That's why Dvaitam keeps on changing, Advaitam never changes. That is why Advaitam is the Paramartham. Hence we say Dvaitam is Mithya. As long as the apparent nature, the relative nature of this Dvaitam is not understood, we think Dvaitam is the absolute reality. Hence one should understand the Advaitam, not to particularly see Advaitam. Okay? What we see is always Dvaitam. But in spite of this Dvaitam, in and through the Dvaitam, what the principle is? Only one thing called Advaitam, Advaitam, Advaitam. Hence that is the topic that is under discussion. Now we get into the next topic called Ishvara and the Adhisthana Devata particularly. Now what is this Ishvara and Jiva? Two things that are there particularly. The Jiva, whenever we see particularly, is one who is created. And with reference to the Jiva created, we always say there is someone who creates. Because anyone who sees, everybody says, I am created only. Though parents are there, who can say because of the children have come, the parents themselves are their own parents. If you go up and up, who is the final parent? Though Darwin says the monkey was our parent, but then we have to say who is the original monkey? Who created that monkey? Monkey did not create itself. So natural evolution, if you say who created nature, you have to go further up and up to see. The whole system in this particular universe. Who created that? And you cannot say it is an accident, just it happens. So hence we say there is a factor which is generally said as Ishvara. And the people generally give Ishvara according to our own particular way of our living culture and other things. Every culture says there is a God with a form and a name and other things, everything things, and that is why they locate that Ishvara in a place which they generally call heaven, some loka, somewhere. Some people generally say heaven. We specifically say that loka, this loka, so many lokas. Like that seems to be some unanimity in all this thinking. Understand it, sir. Now, because our viewpoint of Ishvara and Jiva being from the standpoint of two factors of Nama, Rupa, Guna, we can never accept an identity between the Ishvara and Jiva. Why? Because I am the created, he is the creator, first thing. Second thing, I am governed by the whole law that goes on in this creation. I have no freedom to change anything. I have to abide by everything, but that person has got all the power to create, to do and control everything. I am the controlled, he is the controller. And he is the one who particularly is the benefactor, I am the beneficiary. So in this manner when I see I and Ishvara can never be one and the same. This is how people generally view this Ishvara Jiva Bhavam. The next aspect is that only. That is why the discussion is taken. What is this Ishvara aspect? We have seen before, Ishvara is the one we saw, Brahman plus Maya. When it comes together, it gets a status called Ishvara. The one who wields the power. The one who wields the power of creation, we call as Ishvara. The one who is under the power of creation is called as Jiva. That is a ruler ruled. This difference is always there, particularly. But then in reality, there is no difference between Ishvara and Jiva. Now we have to talk about Ishvara, and another factor is how the governing takes place. So for this purpose, we will take a model from our life, and then we will see what is the difference, what makes the difference, how the difference comes particularly. Just a model. Now only in India, we are going to have what is called election now. But our countries, the mode of election will not be fitting for this example. So we go to America, which is a very fitting thing. We will take that example. Because there is a presidential form of particular government where one man is top important. So you find there is a president in America. But this president in America, before becoming the president, first of all, who can be the president? Only the citizen of that country. Is it or not? A person who is not the citizen of that country can never become the president of that country. So before being elected, that person is who? A simple citizen. And what is the commonness between all citizens? Every citizen has got the power of one franchise, one vote. Is it or not? Nobody is in this way particularly different. Actually, even in our country, whether you are a president or you may be prime minister, you may be chief minister, you may be anybody, still how many votes you have got? You have got only one vote. You cannot have more than that. In this manner, all are what? Equal. Same power. Nobody is superior, nobody is inferior. One, equal. Everyone is equal. Nobody is different. Now this person, only an individual, decides to stand for election. And when he stands for election, he not only puts one vote of his for himself, there are many people putting the vote of theirs also in favor of that particular individual. And whoever polls the maximum votes, the person is declared elected as the president in that country. That means before election, that individual was equal to everyone. No difference whatsoever. But the moment the election is over, and everybody has put their power in favor of that person, the next minute an ordinary citizen becomes who? The top person of everybody. What gives the power? Whether though he might not have polled total, but still as though the total power becomes his. Because even those people who did not vote for him, they have to abide by his rule. Is it or not? This is how an individual becomes total powerful. So who gave the power? The total power made an individual power to total. And this total power only is called the president of a given country. Later on what he does? From the citizens itself, he chooses a lot of people to work for him, which is called a secretariat in administration. And this administration only, you have got varieties of laws, revenue laws, civic laws, penal laws, varieties of laws are there. In this manner, so many laws are there through which the administration of the whole country takes place. For this purpose, he appoints his own representatives, whom you call the secretaries and officers and clerks and so many varieties and varieties. Thus, the president, though sitting in one place, he spreads all over the country. Any type of government function is because of what? He is the president. Beginning from a letter comes to you. Whose power the letter comes? President. When the electricity comes, whose power? President. A telephone works, president. Anywhere you go, a particular police shows the hand. Why are you particularly stopping? Do you respect that man? You respect the law. Which law? It is president. That means later on, where is the president? That's why every petty officer also is respectable. When you respect the petty officer, are you respecting the officer? You are respecting the president. A piece of paper is valuable. Why? That's why the president of their country promises to pay. Thus, in and through anything, anywhere, the nook and corner of a country, how does the president pervade? Vyaplela. How? Not by personal one. He can never be spreading by what the person has spread. By the power, by the law, all over spread. Thus he has got officers from the topmost officers, governors and secretaries and petty officers, all over he is there. That is why all these officers in any form you see, including a chaprasi in the office, anybody in the office, in our language they are called devatas. That is, in the government, every devata means what? Sanctioning authority. That's why you put an application, the fellow sanctions and put a chapa and sends you sanctioned. That particular chapa, you see, Sarkar has sanctioned. You don't see who signs. What is important? Not the signature. The rubber stamp is very important. Is it or not? That is the government. Any paper is sanctioned. Otherwise that fellow tomorrow retired. What power he has got? No power. But the power has been invested in that person. Who gave it? Particularly the president has given. In the president itself, who gave? The people have given. So he gets the power. That means an individual power becomes total when the individual is made into total. Now if this much we understand, everyone you respect is the respect of the president, though it looks I am respecting the individual. That's why we don't respect the individual, we respect the chair. The moment you lose the chair, like every minister, the moment the power goes, what happens to them? They are nothing, nobody cares for them afterwards. That is the case with everybody. When they are in the power and position, they think there is nobody like me. The day they are out of that, nobody looks at them. So what makes you great is a power which has been given to you. Because of that, you are particularly looking like that. So in this manner, here also, Bhagavan is the one who has got this Brahman. He is one individual. Understand itself? When that Brahman is with the total power called Maya, he has got all the power. But you are a particular Jiva, you have got only one unit of power. That is why you have got a mind, that is called the mini Maya. But Bhagavan has got the mind with the total Maya. Hence Bhagavan is the one who rules everything, including our mind. That's why though all officers rule, that's why Prime Minister also rules. But the Prime Minister is ruled by whom? The President. That's why every officer is ruled. But every officer is ruled by someone superior. That's why every superior has got a final superior. Beyond that there is no superior. Like that Bhagavan is absolute. Under him there are varieties of people, and each one who are under him, in our Shastra, they are all called as Devatas. Devatas means what? Who preside over a given law, a function. And these are all the Devatas. Whenever God absolute assumes a form and is seen from the standpoint of function, the Lord is called as Devata. Devata means a functionary who functions, because of which a function goes. Income tax is a law, but this law becomes living when there is a person to enforce the law. That's called income tax commissioner. And for that income tax commissioner, everybody, there is a supreme, particularly finance minister. That finance minister is from that standpoint great, but above him is prime minister. And the prime minister itself is particularly one, above him is president. Like that you find level to level there are people coming down. In this revenue department you go, there are a lot of people, that fellow, this fellow, so many people. They are all under whom? Prime Minister. So every law is a law, but all the law has got one absolute governor. Like that Ishvara the great is absolute, under him are different devatas. Who, what do? They control every function. The cosmic function and the individual function. Both are controlled by the devatas. For relative function, they become devata, and for them the absolute devata is Bhagavan. That's why you find in the Puranas and all, the main trinities are the three devatas. Under them they have got ganas. Each ganas are different. And what do they do? Each one has got their own job to do. Thus if you go particularly under Brahmaji, there are certain groups of people, creation groups are there. Under Vishnu, under the particularly the one who has to do, he has got his own ganas. And the Lord Shiva, under his group, he has got his own ganas. And each one is called as devas or devatas. If it is feminine gender, we call as devis. The only difference. But each one has got their own particular job. That's why if you want the knowledge, you must know whom to approach. The proper channel. That is a Saraswati we go. If you want the money, where you should go? You go to Lakshmi. So like that we know which devata. That's why they say if you want rain, pray to Indra or Varuna. If you want some other thing, there is a devata sanctioning authority. Like even in secretariat, if you want a given job to be done, that department, this officer, this minister, you should approach. They are all doing. And they have got their own method of puja. Puja is what? Their form, apply which form you should apply, what you should do, how much particular form, where money should be given, what should be given. They have got their own pujas. And when you do all this puja, one day sanction comes. Similarly, here also when you respect each devata, everything comes. That's why when you respect the devata of Mother Earth, everything, and you do the proper thing, that is a puja. Based on it, what happens? The tree starts growing. And after some time, the phala, when it comes, Bhagavan Chapa is there, it has come. So who has given you? Bhagavan only has given. In what form? By the nature, natural law, Lord gives you. So that is in our Shastra, anything that comes is from Bhagavan. So thus, the one becomes as though powerful because of the total power. When we view from the small power, we are only small. This is like even, you have got two bulbs. One bulb is a 0-watt bulb. Another bulb is a 1000-watt bulb. The 0-watt is very, very dim. The 1000-watt is very powerful. But behind both of them, who is common? Electricity. So if you see from bulb standpoint, this is the Jiva bulb. 0-watt is Jiva. 1000-watt is Ishvara. Why? Very powerful. Because we are seeing from the standpoint of bulb, Nama, Rupa, Guna. But now shift the attention. From bulb you go to electricity. Who is superior? Both are one and the same. So like that, if you see Jiva from the standpoint of body and power, Jiva is always inferior, powerless, and Ishvara is very powerful. But if you see from the standpoint of Atma, Ishvara and Jiva are one and the same. There is no difference. The Jiva, the name goes, Ishvara, the name goes, what remains? Only Atma or Brahma. That is the only thing that remains. So now having discussed this particular thing, that Ishvara and Adhisthana Devatas, now we go back to the back section particularly and see particularly what is the thing that is there particularly. So we have to go back to pages, I will tell you, you can, or the items. So item 321, we finish that particular thing. Item 321. The page number may be different in my book and your book. So under Jnanendriya, you will find Devatas we left. So we come back to that. All of you got it? Shrotrasya Dig Devata. Vacho Vayuhu, Tvacho Vayuhu, Chakshushaha Suryaha, Rasanaya Varunaha, Granasya Ashvinau, Iti Jnanendriya Devataha. Now what he says, Shirotrasya, the function of this ears, the audition, the Devata, the presiding deity, is what? Dik. Dik means the quarters. The four quarters considered, there are Dik Devatas. They are the Devatas for controlling this function of your ears. They seem to control. Now Tvachaha, for this particular sense of touch, this epidermis that you have got here, there the feeling that is there of touch, for that Vayu, because sense of touch came from where? Vayu. That itself is the Devata. But Chakshushaha, for the eyes, the Devata is Surya. Here only difference comes. Because what is important in the eyes are light. So seems to be sun is the governing authority for that. So that is why in our Shastra, any eye problem they should come to eye doctor. It's okay. But spiritual angle they will say, do prayers to Lord Sun particularly. So there are a lot of prayers asking for proper vision. And there is a type of people who are treating, I am told, who says sun gazing. People who have got certain problem with the eyes, they say, you look at the sun in the early morning, which is good for the eyes. So that is why there is a prarthana always for Surya Namaskara, generally they do. It is for any problem with the eyes to go. It is a spiritual angle. That doesn't mean medicines are not required. In spite of sometimes things don't get cured, you can even take the particular prayers and get cured. That's the additional one. That is Shastra particularly tells. They don't say you did not take medicines. They say this is the additional thing, you can always use it. We should not take it, it's not superstition. Without medicine can you be cured? Sometimes with the medicine things don't get cured. So at that time you help the, particularly prayers will help you. That is the idea particularly said there. That we must clearly understand. It is not trying to make people foolish. That only pray, don't take medicine. That is wrong. Nobody says it should be done. That's in olden days, it's Ayurveda was there. Not that there were no medicines. They had their own branches of medicines they were taking. But with all of them, there were prayers also done which had a particular additional help to get something, if at all, any physically problem because of some natural thing that used to get cured. That's the idea that is always said. That is all the thing with reference to, I told you, even the Putra Kameshti and all from that standpoint. That's why though people, biologically they are all perfect, still they don't seem to get children. You all must be coming through people. So that is our Shastra says, oh, that may be there. So it's best to go and pray to Bhagavan and you may get particularly. It happens particularly. So many people are there who have got particularly children after praying. Though doctors are given up, I tell you. One girl came to me and told me, she was conceiving but all the time miscarriage. And doctors told me, see, we cannot do anything, this is a case, we cannot do anything. She told me, I said, I have not seen doctors. Yes, I have seen everybody, but doctors say it is beyond us, we cannot do anything. But she came and told me, I want a child. Can you help me? I said, I cannot say anything, I will tell you what is the Shastra. Some prayers are there, if you do, if there is any particular problem from the standpoint of Bhagavan, that may get cured and you can try. And I gave her some prayers, I am not trying to say boasting or anything. She conceived and delivered a child. She didn't have miscarriage after that. She has delivered already. So that means what we should understand is, I am telling only what she says, please. She says, I saw doctors and doctors told me they cannot do anything. Because basically there is some problem with you, That's why particularly the child goes away. So she said, I conceive, but the child doesn't remain. After 2-3 months or 4 months, it goes away. So she said, I am very much eager to have a child. Whatever you say, I will do. So she was, though consulting doctors, everybody she was doing. But whatever prayers and pujas were told, everything she did, and finally she delivered. And she got a baby boy. So this is what we have to say. That is why in Ramayana also, Dasharatha didn't have children. So he did particular Putra Kameshti and he got. And I told you recently, you would have read in Kerala a few years back, they did and many people got their child. You must know that. So what we should do is, that doesn't mean in this advanced particular country, scientifically advanced, all these things are there. Have they got any particular place? They have got a place. You must clearly understand. Because what does science do, please? With all due respect to science. Science only understands a system that is working here. They are not authors for any of these things. You are only seeing a body which is already born by some natural laws. You have studied certain things and you say this functions because of that, because of that, because of that. To that extent only people know. What else is there? But why things are like that, nobody can say. So that condition being there, you always accept the fact that these things have got some influence on them. So people who have got certain shraddha and faith, if they take to that, it also blesses, which we must clearly understand. That doesn't mean they should totally ignore medical science. Both have to go together. If things are normal, nothing is required. All these things are required only when things are abnormal. Even they have to go to doctor only when things are abnormal. When it is normal, they need not go to doctor also. Like that, they need not go and pray to Bhagavan for a child. If without everything you get a child, why should you go and pray to Bhagavan? You need not. You need not. That means, when should you go? When all other avenues are not there. Then only. Then only. Not otherwise. For anything. Anything is like that. But then generally, we being human beings, we always pray to Bhagavan in spite of doing everything. Because that is a third factor, I told you. A factor because we have no control over that factor. So that is why we keep Bhagavan as one factor. That is the Bhagavan expresses in the form of the law behind every function. That is the law, the devatas that are being talked here, we should clearly understand. Hence chakshushaha suryaha. Rasanaya varunaha. Sense of taste that is there. Varuna means the lord of water. Because the taste came from water, he is the presiding deity for the taste that is there. Granasya ashvinau. The smell organ, ashvinaus are these two people, doctors of Devaloka. The medical practitioners in the Devaloka are called as Ashwini Kumaras. They are the people who are particular, that's why herbal. All herbs are Ashwini Kumaras. They are the Devata. So from there only smell that is there. So that is why they are the deities for that Ashvinau. In this manner, Jnana Indriya Devataha. We will see Karmendriya and stop it. Now next page, if you go, Karmendriya, below that, it is there. Item 322, there. Karmendriya, below that. Vacho Devata Vannihi Hastayor Indraha Padayor Vishnuhu Payor Mrityuhu Upastasya Prajapatihi Iti Karmendriya Devataha. Vachaha, for the organ of speech, fire is the Devata. That is why you all say, whenever there is gasa bustler, what do you say? Gargle with warm water and salt. seems to be some connection. And that is sometimes they say fiery speech. There should be fire in the speech. Understand itself. That is why fire is the devata for the speech bhashanam. That's why even science tells hot water is very much essential for the throat to be alright. Where the speech is affected, that's why hot heat is very much essential particularly. That's got direct connection. In particular Ayurveda they say, or another way they say particular all fat material which gives heat in the body, that itself is necessary for the speech also. So they will say take lot of ghee by which your speech will improve. In olden days that is what. Today another way is ghee you take, cholesterol you will say. Understand itself. But then in olden days ghee is taken to those people who are to say, sing and other things, they will take lot of ghee in olden days. Today only because once upon a time in our Shastra, Dhrito Vai Ayuhu, it is said there. Why they could take so much ghee? Because they were not taking and sitting quiet. There were no cars and other things. They used to take ghee and they used to walk and do lot of work. Today we take everything and sit quiet, that's why everything gets deposited. So generally you say you take fat but burn it. So they used to burn it by walking and doing lot of work. That's why in olden days ghee never bothered anybody. Today ghee is bothering so much because people take ghee but there is no physical any sort of exertion there. That's why for such people it is bad only. But in olden days it was not, because everything was manual, walking, running, doing physical. Everybody did lot of work. So they could digest anything, I tell you. They could burn anything. So in those days, they was why ghee is always advised for people who want very good voice. Ghee was supporting thing because it gives you heat. That's why you know all fat is meant for what? Giving heat in the body. That's a connection that is there. Then hastasya indraha, in the bahu balam, the hand balam that is required, indra, vajra, like that he has got the bahu balam. It's a devata. So any problem with the hands and other things, you should pray and do puja to Indra. Padayoho Vishnu. For the mobility of your particular feet, Vishnu is the devata. Why do you say Vishnu? After all, which Vishnu? The lying in the Adishesha, sleeping Vishnu. My leg will go to sleep. That is not the Vishnu. But you must know the long strided Vishnu, Trivikrama, who measured the world with 3 feet. That Vishnu. So that is why he has got so much particular long strides. That Vishnu itself is said here as particularly the Padayoho Vishnu. Payoho Mrityu. For the excretory organs, the Devata is Mrityu, Lord Death. Why? Because it is the excretion. He is in charge of sanitary department. That's why he removes all unwanted things. Dead bodies are to be removed, unwanted things. Who does? Called Lord Mrityu. Time. So in time only all the digestion takes place and the excretion also takes place. So that being a Lord Mrityu is the Devata for Upast, particularly Payoho, for the excretory organ, anus. Then Upastasya Prajapati, for the procreatory organ, the function there, Prajapati. Prajapati, another way is called, another name for Brahmaji. Prajanam Padihi, the one who is the Lord of getting Praja, Progeny. So he is the Lord. So if you pray to him, again that function will come. Any defect that is there, they will do puja. That is one of the puja they do is the puja for people tree. Ashwatha puja. In the Ashwatha puja it is said there, at the Moola there is Brahmaji. In the middle there is Vishnu. On the top is Rudra. Hence the tree is looked upon Trinity, but who will sanction child? Brahmaji. So they will say, do puja at the feet, at the root of the tree, offer everything to Brahmaji and pray, bless me with a child. And according to our Shastra, those people who don't have, they will get the children. Many people are had. like that. So that is another thing that they do. So in this manner, that's why it is said there particularly. They are all related to Shastra. So Devatas and all talk. A few more are there that we will do in the next class and proceed. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayada Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kasyet Dukkha Bhave. Om Shanti Shanti.